Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Penciled In podcast with myself, Penciled In Mike, and the glorious producer Petter. How are you feeling today, sir? It's been less than 24 hours since we've last seen each other. What a situation! How are you doing today? You feeling a bit more energetic? The ghost hangover gone? Ghost lag?
I'm feeling less hoarse. I can still feel it, but it's gone from a stallion to a Shetland.
Fair enough. Well, I've always maintained that you go like a stallion, so...
Or maybe a My Little Pony.
Which one, though? Are you an Applejack? Are you a Twilight? Whatever? I used to know them all as a kiddo, but I can't remember them now.
For some reason, I just looked down and realised someone had gave me one years ago.
Okay, you're a brony. It's all right.
Yeah.
You can admit you're a brony.
I don't even think I've watched one episode of it.
I have watched too many, and the movies.
I didn't even know there were movies.
I bought the CD once for the kiddo, and there would be times when I would just listen to some of the songs whilst I'm working out, because honestly, some of them go. Anyway, enough about broness.
Was it in?
So it has been
tag champion.
Sorry, what, the broness?
Yeah.
Oh God, no!
That's gone right over your head.
No idea, man. That's my ECW knowledge mostly comes from documentaries and the odd. Well, actually, I watched a bunch of the pay-per-views when they were on the network and stuff like that. So it's probably got in. But as always, because wrestling never ends and I'm constantly watching it, some shit just does not stick. On that note, as I said yesterday on the previous show, it is WrestleMania weekend and the GCW collective is in full swing. Now, I talked a big game about being able to watch some of those shows yesterday. However, I have not yet, but they are currently on my agenda for this afternoon at some point. Excuse me. We are going to talk about the other show that producer Petter went to. He's going to be our boots on the ground reporter. And then I will probably just be on my Todd for the next bit, because I'll be recording it later of these shows that are coming up. Because as much as I was excited about the ID show, Dragon's Gate Defy, the Stardom show, stuff like that, it really ramps up tonight. So later on, I'm going to be talking about the main shows. I'm going to be talking about will be the TJPW card, the Joshi Wrestling, the DDT card. But Bloodsport at 4 a.m. We're going American time, so we'll probably be watching that quite early. And that is going to be followed by the Progress card. So I'm going to talk about those in a bit. However, until that time, producer Petter, are you okay?
Yes. Apart from having a wind. But that
for our
seems
non-viewing viewers.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It seems to be the thing now I get before I do a show. I get wind. It's almost like pre-match ritual now.
He's a gassy boy.
Yeah. But it's not even Dr. Pepper. That's what's confusing.
Well, you shouldn't have carbonated cups of tea.
I mean, damn it, man. Can't a man enjoy his carbonated tea?
That sounds fecking dreadful, doesn't it? Carbonated brew. Oof.
I mean, I'd give it a go. I might not.
No,
but give it a go.
I'd give it a bash. Yeah, I'd definitely try it, but I already know I'll hate it, and that's rare for me. There's so few things that I'm so unwilling to try. It's not that there's so few things that I know I'll hate. I'm mostly ready to find something good in everything. What?
Anchovies.
I fuck with anchovies. I mess with anchovies.
Not too
many.
No. I have made a fatal error before.
I'm a fan of the small sea beasts.
Yeah. Not with garlic on them, though.
Oh, it sounds like I mean, you're going to need to buy some stock in Rennie's if that's how you live in your life.
I accidentally got some with garlic and I nearly threw up in my mouth.
Sounds dreadful.
It tasted dreadful. But
well, on the end of tasting dreadful, tasting delicious in the form of some sweets wrestling, I believe it was quite a large card actually you've got for us today.
It was officially a 12-match card.
Okay.
It could have been more if you include the little mini promo and kind of in between bits, but I digress, as the great man once said. So we will start off, as I say, Futureshock Show 1 for Danger Zone at the Stockport Guildhall. And we kicked off with the leading man, Tony Wright, taking on the king of Salford, Jack Johnson.
Oh, really? That's how you start in the show?
Yeah. That's what we started with.
That's a good start.
Yeah. And they didn't finger. It lived up to everything. Johnson obviously being the heel, Wright being the babyface, because as much as I would love to see Wright now try doing his heel thing again after the now infamous Fairfield show where he played anti-Tony, because it was originally meant to be him and Chris Ridgway in the kind of variety show, so to speak. But Ridgway was double booked. So they had to work way around. And Tony Wright played a 1970s wrestling villain with a flag that said, "I am not from here." Spitting at the crowd and wearing...
Wow.
Well, I say spitting. It was more kind of comedic, kind of poor. I'm
assuming he's not actually... Yeah. He's not sharing his DNA with everyone. He's playing.
But the infamous quote was him standing on the staging area. We had Isaiah Quinn and Sam Bailey doing commentary, but
lovely.
I can't remember. I don't know what their names were because one I couldn't hear. But Tony Wright basically said, "I am not from here. I hate you all," and pretty much just ran down like the thing says, "I don't like it here. I'm not from here." And
I am not from here. I hate it here. To spit on that
which had Isaiah Quinn.
Oh, what?
You will see it in the inbox I sent.
Yeah.
He does it. Isaiah Quinn breaks completely. He has to put the cards over his face. Bailey kind of just takes the commentary headset off and just goes, What can you say? What can I add to that?
He's won. Yeah. He's won the evening.
Everyone was laughing, and I'm sure there were a couple of kids going, "What are they on about?" Thinking, too young to know.
When you're older.
But you learn at wrestling shows. That's what you do. But yes, moving a week forward, or a week back as it is now, we had Johnson and Wright. Johnson being his normal kind of prickish self. Obviously, because Salford is, in his heart of hearts, the real city in the 0161. I mean, it isn't. It's Manchester, but, you know. you've got to let Salford have the little wins, because there's not really much in Salford, having been a few.
You don't have to let them because they'll just take it anyway. It's all good. Oh,
The
it's
only
Salford.
good thing
I
from
love it.
Salford, the only good thing about Salford is Salford City Wrestling. And the
I
bus.
know.
But
There's a pretty nice hungry horse and the keys. I like that. It's a beefy. I like the beefy. That's about it.
yeah. Technically, bowlers would. No, that's still Trafford. Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
Trafford.
we're going slightly off kilter here, I feel.
I wouldn't like us. That's not like us.
No. So the match itself saw Johnson targeting Tony Wright's leg because Tony kind of jumped off the ropes, jarred his leg. Johnson, being the good professional wrestler, zoned in on that thing. He didn't spit on it, but he went off for it. Wright kind of battled as well as he could. Johnson was taking full advantage. Decided then things weren't going in as quick as he would like to try and win his match. So to speed things up, decided to grab a metal bar from underneath the ring that he was going to use. And it's the infamous metal bar that he used on Najee in the Invitation tournament to knock him out. So he was going to try and do the same. The referee caught him in the act with the pipe, took the pipe away, gave Wright an absolute punt between the legs.
Shithouse.
I mean, it was almost the scene from Hot Shots Part 2 where his eyes just like bulge. Nuts just like come out of his mouth.
Oh, yeah, the two gold. Oh no,
yeah.
that's I'm thinking Wayne's World with the two gold balls come out of his pants. Sorry,
but it was a hell of a punt. I will say that. So he gets the 1-2, doesn't get the 3, but then Johnson had been trying to find all little ways to kind of be sneaky behind the referee. So he'd be moving the middle turnbuckle. He'd try the top turnbuckle, like getting it so the steel was showing. But it would be his undoing because he went to put him in a figure 4 or a spinning toe hold. But either way, Tony kicked him into the corner, smacked his head off the metal, dazed and confused, much like a few people I saw staggering out of Satan's Hollow the other night. And Tony Wright landed a super kick and then fell backwards onto Jack Johnson to pick up the 1-2-3. Tony Wright is your winner. However, almost immediately after Wright picks up the win, we hear the strains of Nothing Else Matters by Metallica.
Oh, God.
Which obviously means it's Scott Oberman.
Yeah.
So, as Oberman makes his way towards the ring, Wright is just sat on the ring apron, waiting for him to make his entrance. And then as Scott comes through the curtains, Wright proceeds to just give him an absolute mouthful, pointing to the belt. And Scott just stands there and takes it, smirking through his long, luscious hair. Because he was going to be facing Dr. Proctor.
Okay.
So before the match took place, it had Oberman giving almost a longer speech than his entrance, where he seemed to do it almost in a Christopher Walken style. He'd say so many words, and then he'd ask Greenwood to repeat it. But instead of just kind of summarizing what he said, he did it like in bits. So he could have constructed the sentence. And literally just said he is in a good mood today, so therefore he's going to give a opportunity to Dr. Proctor for the adrenaline title.
Nice.
Golf claps. Because he's on a 3-0 or 0-3 or 0-4 record.
Yeah.
So that's why he's giving it him, because he hasn't won anything of late. So
Fair
being
enough.
heel, obviously, you're not going to
Yeah.
give someone who's doing
can-
well a
yeah,
chance. And then effectively said he would rather give it a deserving individual as opposed to Tony Wright.
Oh, so much.
Which a bit of a low blow, but I'm all here for it. So we had an adrenaline title match. Oberman and Proctor. Oberman pretty much he didn't fully dominate the match. Proctor did have his fair share of kind of offense. The first part of it was very close, like 50-50 each. Obviously, Oberman then decided to take things by the scruff of the neck, take control of the contest. Scott Oberman then, while in the ascendancy, thought, I think I'm going to grab my title. So as he makes his way towards the timekeeping part, Tony Wright then pops out and says, where do you think you're going? You don't need to use that belt. What are you getting that belt for? And we could all hear Scott just going, didn't need it anyway. Got into the ring.
So bothered.
Wright and Oberman just kind of like look and have like a bit of a jaw-jacking. Oberman gets in the ring. Proctor tries to do a sneaky roll-up, to which Wright was quite excited, thinking, oh, we could see Oberman lose. Did not happen. 2 counts. But it was all academic, because Oberman then put Proctor in a submission hold, got the tap-out victory. Wright came in to protect Proctor. But Oberman couldn't help just lifting that title and staring towards Tony, thinking, oh yeah, look who's got this. Look who has this title.
He knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
Poking the bear.
So this rivalry, you feel, with Oberman and Wright, which I said it the other week, gives me very much Rock Triple H vibes from like '98 for the IC belt.
Love
where
those
it wasn't like the main feud, but it felt very even to like being like equal with like the title. I'd arguably say it's the best feud in Futureshock at the moment.
Love that. I always enjoy when mid-card feuds kind of take precedent over what would probably be considered the main storyline, because everyone kind of thinks like, oh, it's the top belt, it's the main storyline, man or woman, that's the main bit. And it's like, well, no, if you remember back to like kind of like the 90s Attitude Era, when I was a kid, especially, me and Nick talk about this all the time, we didn't know there was a upper, lower, or mid card. It was just everything was just fun and awesome, and especially with stuff like Trips and The Rock. It's like I thought that was the feud, that was the match. That was the reason why I'm tuning in, because they're the top guys. They're not the top guys. It's like, how I look back and go, oh, the amount of times I've looked back and gone, Jericho wasn't like perceived to be one of the greatest dudes.
No.
Like one of the top people, and it's like he was the guy. He was fucking Jericho. He was one of my favorites. He was Nick's favorite. So yeah, I love when that's able to happen, because it just gives room for people to move up and to show their kind of like worth, as far as like, look at what a draw we can be.
Because it's, if you do, I'm slightly going off topic, but at the same time, if you look at that kind of like 98 summer, every title meant something, but none of them felt lesser than the other. So you had, obviously...
Except maybe the tag, because...
towards the back end of it, yes. But during the... As a whole, the summer, every belt seemed to matter. You could say the tag kind of went down and the European title got more elevated.
Yeah.
Because you had, for the championship, you had Austin, Taker, Kane, Mankind were your 4.
Yeah.
Your kind of IC was Rock, Triple H.
Yeah.
With like Shamrock hovering underneath and Owen Hart kind of towards that way. It was almost a stopgap from like the European to the IC in a way. It's like they're too good for Europe, but they weren't particularly there for the Intercontinental at that time. Yeah. And then the Europe was like
Shamrock Shamrock and Thingy, that they had the Lions Den match and stuff like that, didn't they?
So then the European, you had X-Pac and D-Lo. And that feud. And that feud as well. Which, when people talk about the European title now, they will badmouth it. But if you watch like that particular era, are they like amazing matches compared to now? Depending how you look at it, I could easily watch 98 over some stuff today.
100%.
Not all of it.
100%. No. There's some content that you kind of got to go. Why though?
You take things at face value, as I like to say.
Yeah.
So, not match 3. We had a little interlude, shall we say, as we had the open challenge, or open ring challenge for Big Deck McCarthy, who was led out by 5 trainees from the Futureshock Performance Center. Shout out to Tyler, because I know he listens to the podcast because he told me. And I said I would. So, hello, Tyler. Or Alfie, even. So he had his henchmen, so to speak. Not really henchmen, but trainees. But they might as well be. More on that later. He got in the ring and says, "I'm a professional wrestler. I am going to give one of these people their first ever match in Futureshock. Who am I going to select?" Kind of went down, had to go at one because they were doing the socials and said, "Are you filming? Why aren't you stood with these? You are still part of the recruitment. Get in line." So you've got one of them still filming socials while he's being literally ripped apart by Deck McCarthy, which is, always fun. You then had, I'm just double checking my notes. Yeah. So you had one lad that was called Aziz. Obviously, Alfie got moaned at because he wasn't in Futureshock gear. He was wearing. He was wearing the Cure T-shirt, doing.
Love it.
Just like helping out. He was told he wasn't good enough by Deck McCarthy. I thought it was a bit harsh. Though we did have one funny one where he's ripping into him, and there is one person that comes to every Futureshock show with a child, and she went, "Don't be mean to him," and Deck just like moved back and just said, "Shut your mouth." To the crowd member saying, "I don't want your input. I'm talking here."
Brilliant. I'd love to see that side of Declan McCarthy. I've only seen him in Infamous, so I'd love to see that kind of like
it's
outside.
It's the thing of like Saturdays, like fan favorite, and Sunday is just like evil. it's wrestling's fun.
It is.
So he picks out one lad to get in the ring. So he says to him, he went, did you wipe your feet, lad, when you got in? And he kind of
Leave it. Fine. Thank you. It's okay. Thank you. Sorry, I was trying to get a charger, but hi.
I will do that bit again.
Sorry.
That's a great way to start. So yeah, as I say, he brings in it's puppy love. That's what it is. That's love. That's what you call it right there.
You shoot his ass, I can smell it.
No bits.
Great.
So he says to this lad, did you wipe your feet before you got in the ring? And he didn't. So he said, right, get out. And
show some respect, sir.
Yes, that's what he says. He says,
yeah, show some respect to the ring.
You've got to be, he says, we do things professional here. A professional wrestler always wipes his feet. So he goes out, wipes his feet, comes back in. Asked his name, said his name was Aziz, which drew an applause from everyone. And I think Det gave like a sarcastic congratulations, got a cheer because people heard your name. And then he says, right, get in the corner, I'm going to show you some things. So he goes into the corner and he goes, sorry, I didn't hear what you I didn't hear a reply. So he came back, he went, yes, coach. I went, sorry? He went, yes, coach. Good, now get in the corner. So of course he turns around to go into the corner. McCarthy smacks him in the back and went right into the ropes. Everyone's booing and he goes, lesson 1, never turn your back on your opponent. Give him a couple of kicks and everything. And then while he's on the floor, gives him picks him up, body slams him. He's writhing in pain. And McCarthy goes, next, we're going to talk about pain. Says, we can't describe pain, but we'll try and give it a go. So he gets his arm, puts him in kind of like, puts his arm like behind him and
bit of a chicken wing
back. Just basically gets like his almost like if you have your elbow pointing forward. So if you're watching the video, you can see. So he has him in that position. I mean, the video I'll post with it will illustrate that. And all you hear is like screaming from this trainee in absolute agony until you hear like gunshots, and it's Steve Macklin's intro music, who dives into the ring. Says, "Oh, so you're a coach, are you? You're a coach. Get in here, and I'll kind of like show you a few things." Deck does not want any part of him yet, because he has him later on in the evening. He then goes round, and he's joined by FTM, who come out.
Oh, okay. Right.
So Tom McCall and Jack Critchlow come out. So they say, why don't we have 3-on-1 then? Mr. TNA, Mr. Big Shot. Macklin seemed okay to do. However, the 05 then came to the ring, and we had an impromptu 6-man tag.
Nice.
And this was a really good one. So we started off with Macklin and McCarthy. Macklin saying, come on, let's get it on. McCarthy, of course, like gears up, starts shaking, and then turns right round and tags in Critchlow, because he does not want to face him quite yet. Jack then says, I'll show I'll show you what to do. I'll show you like what you have. I'll prove how good I am and everything. Turns around, basically gets slapped by Macklin, goes straight down.
Brilliant.
Then it was kind of everyone just getting stuff in until we ended up with, I think it was Harvey Dukes started getting kind of like the rough end of things. Then it was kind of like the 05 just started getting beat up a bit. FTM and Depp obviously enjoying life. Macklin comes in, complete and utter change. So we ended up with Macklin saying, "Come on, McCarthy, get in." Deck does not want to face him at all. Hits the Kia on call for the 1-2-3. But I will say this before the match started, because it's just sprung back into my head. McCarthy got into the ring, and Macklin says, "Coach, did you wipe your feet before you got back into the ring?"
Oh, nice.
Which was some great work there by Macklin. McCarthy did not like that at all. Completely ignored what he said.
Of course.
The match itself, it was a solid match. It did what it did. It kind of helped both the 05 and FTM for later on. And it made you look forward to McCarthy and Macklin in the second show as well. So, lovely. Good match all round. Match number 4 saw Matty Tucker going up against Brick Strong in, arguably you could say, a bit of a hoss match, a meaty match. Haven't seen Tucker since, I think it was Lotto Thunder in January or February last year. So it's been a while since we've seen him. But when we did see him, I enjoyed watching him. He was tough. This is just basically 2 men slapping meat, effectively. Neither wanted to give ground. Had a little brawl on the outside. Both got their stuff in. Strong looked like he was going to take victory because he seemed to have the better of Tucker. However, Strong got a bit, you could say, overconfident. Came running at Tucker. Tucker noticed this and managed to kind of grab him and roll him up for a pin. And with a roll-up pin, took victory to see Matty Tucker victorious. Bright Strong, not a happy bunny. Not a happy bunny at all. So I feel the Hunter may want some payback eventually.
Fair enough.
Match number 5, and the, as we said yesterday, the penultimate match of the show. We saw Joey Hayes having a open challenge for the heavyweight championship or the Futureshock championship, because I don't really think you have heavyweight championships now. It's practically open, really. It's any free weight. So Hayes got in the ring, but then who was going to be his opponent? And it was that Canadian marvel, Peter Sador.
Yeah, boy.
Joined by his best mate, Jensen Vesper. This, arguably, I would say, stole the show. I've seen Sador a lot of times. I do enjoy watching him. He is... I know people have made the comparison to him and MJF because he has used the phrase "better than you"
Yeah.
But he does it in like almost a parody in a way, where he will try and put like the sharpshooter on.
Yeah.
And he will say, this move is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. To which there were a couple from Liverpool that were a couple rows behind me, and they were cheering him. Always like the heel fans when you go to these shows, much like Manchester fans would be at Liverpool shows. So nothing wrong with that. But this match, I really did enjoy this match. Hayes, fighting champion. Sador giving everything to try and become the new champion. The match itself, back and forth, you really could not tell where this was going. It's one of the few title matches where you think, you know this is going to happen. The longer it went on, you thought, we could see a change here. And it could be a shock one. And when he got like a 2.999999999 of a count, it's the closest I've ever seen to like nearly being a 3. And then everyone just thought, I think by the end of it, people genuinely thought we're getting behind Sador as well, thinking, we could see a new champion here, just for like the shock value.
Yeah.
But in the end, Hayes won with his JKO, with Sador jumping off the top rope and Hayes catching him. Arguably my favourite match of the show across the two.
Nice.
And then we came to the main event of show 1, which was the Horde against the hybrid team of Forbidden Planet and the Meat Wagon, or as they were for one night at least, Forbidden Meat.
I was like Meat Planet, and then Forbidden Meat.
Yeah.
The Forbidden Meats.
I mean, it was Jack Benno that came up with the idea, but people steal things, Jack. People steal things.
I think you had a genius idea, Jack, and I want no part in whatever nonsense you have in store for producer Petter. I am not trying to poke that bear, because, as we've said before, cherub-like face, but a fire within him.
So this is just chaotic. In fairness, this is just utter chaos. It seemed to take a bit for the match to settle down, because everyone was just like high flying. You had Gorgon, Starkiller Dave Birch. You had meaty moves from like the Meat Wagon. You had Solomon getting his stuff in. Seraphim, Noamak, Solomon. Basically, everyone just did something in like the first half of this match. Then when we kind of got things down to basics, Anderson Daniels was unfortunately the person to take a bit of a beating for his side.
Okay.
Tagged out. Then had people worry because he was then helped into the back, hobbling a bit. So immediately it went 4-on-3. We're all thinking, that's a bit of a downer if he's injured. And then say about 5 minutes later, he came out roaring, almost Brian Blessed. He's alive! Proceeded to beat up every member of the Horde. Things then broke down with the Tenderizer from the Meat Wagon. Dave Birch hit a lowdown, and that proved to be the difference in this match, as Forbidden Meat won the 8-man tag. After the match, it had the Meat Wagon get the microphone with Forbidden Planet still in the ring.
Yeah.
And Daniels and Ryan effectively said, we can see teams wanting to have like shots at tag team gold and like trying to like get our attention, but the way that Forbidden Planet have like gone about their business, they've helped us out numerous times, they've done everything right. He says, you don't get things given to you normally. He says, but later on tonight, we would very much like to defend our tag titles against you. So we're going to give you a title opportunity, which shocked everyone because no one saw this coming. So one match that was added to later on was going to be for the tag team championships, which and quite a lot of people genuinely got excited for, because matches between Forbidden Planet and Meatwagon have banged every single time. Though they did make a good point of every time that they have had like tag title matches, or it's been number one contender matches, the Horde have always stuck their nose in, and there's never been a true like winner. So last year they faced at Reality Check, which for most of that year I put as like my favorite match. It was one of the best tag matches I'd seen anywhere until the Horde came out and ruined that. Then they tried again. Things didn't happen, which then led to the TLC match we had at the 20th anniversary. So third time around, hopefully no Horde interference, which thankfully there wasn't. But more on that later. Now we move on to show 2. And we started off with a debut for Romy Kendrick. I hadn't seen him before, but I had heard good things. He went up against the Wildfire Nate Reese, who little shouty man is the best way to describe. If you've ever seen Inside Out, he is the angry character.
He's okay, fair enough.
That's the best way to describe him.
You painted it.
Ever since he kind of lost a couple of matches, he's very much gone from being a fan favourite to not a rule breaker, but just more not a very cheerful, happy-go-lucky person.
Right.
But this match was fun. Reese just shouting loads of different things. Romy kind of getting on the middle rope and kind of like celebrating, just posing. Reese saying, they'll cheer for me if I do that. So he does it, he gets booed. Romy does it, he gets cheered. You know, all that fun, good stuff. Then when we got to the wrestling, equally as good. Romy really impressed, and I'm really hoping that he comes back again soon, because I definitely want to see more Romy. It was such a joy to see. Reese was a good foil for him. Reese is an experienced hand, but he can make people look. He makes people look good, but Romy just added extra to say that. Yeah, I'm here. I want to sort of like put a claim in saying, lay down a marker. This is me. I want to sort of like do more shows. I want to do this. I am this good, and he definitely is. Romy wins with, I've called it a Michinoku driver, but it could be a Romy driver, because I don't know the finisher. Apologies. We then came to the tag team match for the undisputed number one contender spot, which was FTM, Finely Tuned Machines, Tom McCall and Jack Critchlow taking on Deck Henry and Harvey Dukes of the 05.
Lovely.
This was effectively just, as you would imagine, fast-paced, totally enjoyable. I think those that have been watching where this has gone kind of predicted where this was going to go.
Okay.
Due to kind of having like babyface teams. So it made a bit of sense to have FTM win this, but the match itself, really enjoyable. Can't say anything negative because I love all four. Tom, I just love anyway. Think he's underrated personally. Critchy is just irritating, but we all love him for it.
He knows what he's doing. He's very good.
Yeah. It's the best way I always describe FTM a bit as like the New Age Outlaws of Critchlow. He's very much the road dog, has the mouth, has the solid wrestling. McCall does not do the talking, but arguably I say has more in his arsenal. But as they're both young, I think when he has his breakout, I will be there for it because I shouldn't say this being Mancunian, but I do love FT.
Not wrong with it, man. I've lived in Manchester for 10 years, but I'm a Scouser. It's all good.
But yeah, FTM take the spoils and are now your official number one contenders for the tag team titles.
Woo!
Which is going to be interesting in who they may be facing, depending on what happens later in the evening. We then had another debutant to Futureshock Wrestling in the hot commodity Melissa Fierce, who we have seen at Sov Pro. Was impressive on that occasion, even more so on this occasion, as she took on Lana Austin. I'm trying to think how to. This is arguably one of the best women's matches I've seen at Futureshock, where there's not been like any shenanigans, or it's almost like straight wrestling with like a bit of like a sprinkling of like comedic in a way, as you would with as you would with like a Lana Austin kind of like shenanigans in a match kind of thing. Fierce looked really good. Fierce took victory. The only thing that was slightly worrying, we don't know if it was true or not, but towards the back end of the match, she did a move where she ran, or she tried to put her shoulder into the body of Austin in the corner. Austin moved out the way, so went towards the ring post. Austin then kind of like kicked Fierce and like the head on while she was outside. But as she did, it looked like as she kicked her head hit the ring post. To which she then picked up like Austin, got the 1, 2, 3. Was kind of like holding her head for a tiny bit. I think she was meant to be doing the photos because he did mention that's what they were going to do. But then there was like a bit of a wait because no one knew what was going on. So they changed it and had Lana come out. But from a couple of people that were sat at ringside, they said, yeah, she took quite a bit of a blow to the head off the ring post. Completely unintentional. Just one of those things that happen. Did not like put a downer on the match. Fierce looked great. Austin, brilliant. match itself, really entertaining. I could
Bro.
happily watch this again. Fierce picks up the win. We then came to Danny Hope and Jensen Vesper, which was born out of the end of the Hayes Store match previously, where after the match, it saw Vesper and Sador beating down Hayes. Danny Hope was on commentary, saw his model's team partner getting attacked, left the commentary booth, left the commentary table, jumped into the ring, saved his tag partner, or former tag partner. He's basically his mate. And so in between, it had the match being made for Hope and Vesper. Again, it was wrestling with a comedic style. Hope was very wrestling technical based. Vesper was kind of being his normal agitating self, with the infamous beating someone in the corner, referee going 1, 2, 3, 4, and Vesper turns to Ray dancing, going 5, 6, 7, 8 in the style of steps.
Of course, very good. I've seen
So
this
it's
before, and I love it.
So when you see it the first time, you really laugh, but as it's like a heelish move, the more you see it, the more you think, please stop. Please stop. But it adds to the character, so it makes sense. Hope was pretty much having like Sador distracting him a fair bit. Vesper looked to try and take advantage. Hope then rallied, despite having Sador holding back Hope on the apron so they could kind of do a double team. Hope avoided, Sador took the brunt of it. Vesper then took a blow. I don't know what happened because I didn't see it because I was looking at Sador, but I know he took a blow because Hope picked up the 1, 2, 3. We then came. I say the penultimate match. It was actually the third from the end, but I've moved my matches for this.
Okay.
And it was for the Futureshock Tag Team Championship. Meat Wagon taking on Forbidden Planet. I think the video that people will see will agree that it kind of encapsulates everything that happened in this match.
Nice.
The Meaty Boys did all their power moves. They did everything that they normally do to try and just beat down the challengers. However, Forbidden Planet just driven to try and win these tag straps. Everything they did, Meat Wagon, everything they threw at them, they could not keep them down for a 1, 2, 3. Forbidden Planet, though, would rally, and are now your new tag team champions. After the match, it had the Meat Wagon get back into the ring, raise their arms in victory, had them kind of like hug. But I think it's fair to say the look on Eisenstein's face seconds after they win the title, and he dives into the ropes and was literally in tears that they'd won the belts. So whether they told him or they just kept it like a bit of a secret from him, because
it felt real.
Because it felt like Birch may have had a slight clue, but Steen didn't. Because Steen was clearly, visibly emotional with the victory. But it was good to see the Meaty Boys happy.
Yeah.
Although losing their straps isn't the best thing.
No.
They're more than happy that it was Forbidden Planet that took them. So it's going to be interesting to see where we go with Forbidden Planet now as your tag team champions, especially with FTM breathing down their necks. And finally, your main event, Big Deck McCarthy taking on Steve Macklin. This was different.
This match fell hard, man.
This was
yeah, this is 2+2, man. There's no way this match couldn't have been anything other than a banger.
No. I think a lot of people probably expected this to be like very 50-50. It felt more kind of 70-30 in favour of McCarthy.
All right.
McCarthy really... I think Macklin did McCarthy look even better, but again, it's like the Romy Reese thing of Deck made himself look good with Macklin helping. This match was just brutal in a great way.
Sorry, I said yesterday I'd watch some clips.
Yeah,
these were the ones.
I was looking briefly at Miles, and Miles looked to be enjoying himself. During this.
See, back when he did, kind of, he's got this really smooth look where he just kind of goes, like he's like, yeah, this is good. He's so he's like laid back. He's like, yeah, man, yeah, this is good.
Because it's been
chill, motherfucker.
You had McCarthy hitting Macklin with everything. Macklin came back, hit McCarthy with everything he had. Hit I think it's called the Bag'em Tag'em, where it's like the Tree of Woe, but then he spears him into the corner while they're upside down. Looked brutal to take. And I feel that is probably the actual feeling of receiving it. But as it was, it went back and forth, kind of as I say. McCarthy's trainees then jumped the ring when Macklin was going to hit his finisher. One of them snuck a weapon into the ring. McCarthy used it, hitting the Morrigan's call, and everyone is fully expecting like Macklin to kick out. We had 1, 2, 3, and there was genuine shock around a lot of people thinking, "Oh, wow!" I looked straight at Miles immediately after the 3 count. The only regret I have of the filming was that I did not film Miles' reaction. Because it was effectively, as I put in the Discord, of the owl that just spins its head round with like jaw dropped, thinking,
Yeah.
I don't believe that. Did McCarthy win? Yes, he did. The match ruled. That's all I have to say on that. It was a great match. Did not expect, because normally when you get a top star over, you don't expect like the heel or whoever it is to like win. If they have like a tournament like Futureshock had the For the Love of Progress, where they had Sam Bailey taking on the formerly can't think of his name.
I watched that show.
Ginger Mahal, but I can't think of his real name. But they faced off for a special title belt. Bailey won, but you kind of expected it on that occasion. But you don't normally see like the import on this occasion losing, so that was very different. On one of these shows at least, if it's like say a Rev Pro or something, you kind of see 50-50 on them. definitely one of my favourite matches of the weekend. McCarthy had 2 really great matches, especially
Sounds
against
like
Ice
it,
North the night before, and then to have this as well. So if he drinks, he's definitely earned his drinks come Sunday night. And that, my friends, is your Futureshock Roundup.
Amazing. Thank you very much. That sounded like a bloody good day of wrestling. 12 mental matches. Obviously, having that first card to set up stuff for the second card is always fun. It makes it feel like a bit more of a personal experience. We've invested time. We get to do this. Always good.
Because it was
I
also...
can't believe you started with Tony Wright and Sulphur Jack and ended up with this Dec McCarthy match. So, yeah.
But I will say as well, one thing I didn't put down that's just triggered something was during show 1, we had Holly Barlow come out.
Okay.
I don't know if she was meant to be wrestling, but she asked for promo time, as Isaiah Quinn said.
Okay.
So he asked her what she wanted the microphone or what she wanted to say to the Futureshock faithful. Kind of said that since she came back last year, having kind of retired and then come back, that she's been involved in a few matches, chalked up a few wins. I think it's about time I should be looking at getting some gold.
Yeah, girl.
And as we kind of know, show 2 originally was scheduled to be Melissa Fierce and Lily Winter for the women's title. Winter is currently injured, so wasn't able to participate. However, she did hear these words from Barlow, and said that she couldn't wrestle tonight, and then told Barlow, well, if you remember, Holly, it was me that brought you back into wrestling, which is true, because at the 20th anniversary, Holly was doing the socials for Futureshock at ringside and doing all their online stuff. And when it came to Lily Winter, who had said her opponent was going to be a former Futureshock Women's Champion, Holly was a Futureshock Women's Champion for about 6 to 8 minutes before Lana Austin stole the title from her when she cashed in her Women's Invitational Tournament victory. I think this was like 2018, 2017.
It's way before time.
So since then, Holly Barlow then kind of like went off into the ether. So Lily Winter said, I brought you back into wrestling and I can make you retire again. I can do that.
I brought you to this world and I shall send you out of it packing.
So Isaiah Quinn basically told Lily, saying, you can't get involved, you're not medically cleared. Turned his back on her. Lily pushed Quinn into Holly. Winter disappears. And then Holly gets informed that at the next show on May 10th, it is going to be a number 1 contenders match for the women's title at the Manchester Union, where Holly Barlow will be taking on Lizzie Evo to decide who will be the number 1 contender for Lily Winter's title. I don't think I'm there for that, because I think I am. Well, I know I'm not there for it. But it's really annoying me that I'm not, because I have plans elsewhere. Damn you. But that match will be a hell of a match, because Evo can go, Barlow can go. And when you're talking about the women's division, which is getting finally some kind of things getting put in place now.
Yeah.
Because it's felt a while now that the women's division is kind of stagnated for a while. There's been no real feuds in the women's division, especially since like just before Christmas when you had Holly and Lana. And then since then, there's been nothing really. Leah Ravens obviously had to take time out. So hopefully she will be back soon, which will be another name into the mix. So it can only bode well moving forward for the women's division. But yes, that is now officially your roundup of the women's and Futureshock roundup. And I can rest.
Ha! I got the clap in. Thank you very much, dude. That's always good to hear you're out there on the ground, getting into the shows and reporting them back. So thank you so much as always.
I try my best.
You do very well.
I need to cut. I take almost as much as we do for podcasts, but hopefully they appeal to people.
They appeal. They have appeal. Sex appeal. Well, I have 1% battery. This has been the
Futureshock edition, effectively.
This has been that part. I am going to boogie away and come back and record my bits. But for now, Petter, thank you so much, as always, for joining us and for getting. Sorry?
Shall we wave?
Well, if you can put the wave in at the end.
Oh yeah.
After
you forget I'm a producer.
I know you do. What are you starting to say? I've got 1%, motherfucker. Do you want me to put this in? Do you want this? This could be a nice wave. We could do nice.